Hello, and welcome to episode 51 of the She.Must.Knit podcast. My name is Erin, and someone was sitting in my spot. I swear he knows exactly when I'm about to record, and he just gets all in my business like usual. Anyway, thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. If you are a regular viewer, you may have noticed that this episode is going up a little bit later than usual, and that has something to do with how my week went. I hope you guys had a good week, because my week, while personally was fine, it was a usual week, it was a very disruptive, noisy week. The weather is getting much better. I've mentioned before that spring is on the way. It is a beautiful sunny day. We are getting some days that are going above zero, and with that comes the construction season. And I know I've mentioned before that across the street, like directly, literally right across the street from our house, they are building a road from our main street into the subdivision that was built recently, and they have resumed work on that road. So as of Monday, from 7 a.m. to about 5:30 at night, it is just non-stop, constant construction noise. And I tried yesterday, you know, I usually like to record on Fridays. I tried to wait until after Avery got to school, see maybe if they would leave early, and they didn't. And then Dennis came home, and I had to feed people and just do other kind of family stuff. So it just didn't happen. So it's Saturday morning, actually it's Saturday afternoon. Avery had a class that I had to take her to. And I'm trying to get this out. I would love to know your feedback. I don't know how it's going to go going forward with my regular Friday afternoon recording. Do you guys like to have the episode up Saturday morning to watch? Do you care? Should I wait and just do it on the weekend and have it up maybe Monday or Sunday? Or should I find another place in the house to record and still get it up Saturday morning? Let me know your thoughts. I haven't yet tried to see if I can edit out background noise. I might try that next week and see how it goes, but I'd like to know if you guys have any opinions either way. So let's get started. That's enough chitter chat about all the noise that I've been dealing with. Oh my goodness, it's so much noise. Oh my goodness, I just had to pause and take about 10 minutes to get Mr. T situated. He was coming up on the table and was trying to lie down on every single thing that I was planning on showing you. I've got him over in the corner now on a grocery bag. Hopefully he will be content. Anyway, like I said, let's start with the knitting. What do I have for you today? I have got a finished project that was kind of a random thing that I had to cast on this week. I have lots of progress on some of the projects that I have showed you over the past few weeks. And then I have the collection from the vote from the last time. So I'm going to get started with a quick sip of my coffee today. I don't even know what brand this one is. It's just something that I found in my cupboard as I whittle away at the last remnants of my flavored coffee stash. It said it had notes of, I think, cinnamon, chocolate, and vanilla, and I'm like, that sounds good. So that's what I've been enjoying, and it is quite tasty. So we are going to start with my finished object, and like I said, I was not planning on casting this on, but in the middle of the week, I think it was Wednesday, we were getting ready in the morning for school, getting all our woolies on, because it's still pretty chilly in the morning, and then there have been days where it warms up in the afternoon. So I was getting Avery all dressed in her hats and cowls and mitts and stuff, and I made the very innocent comment that we would soon be able to put away her really thick hats and cowls and bring out her other objects that I've made her over the years that are a little bit thinner and would be more appropriate for the new kind of weather. And oh my goodness, a meltdown, a total meltdown ensued. You would have thought that I had asked her to give away all her worldly possessions. She was so upset at the idea of not having it was specifically her kitty hat. So if you remember, I think before Christmas, in the fall sometime, I made her a new winter hat, and I have it right here. I made her a new winter hat with a worsted weight yarn, double, like held together, doubled, and then I like to line all her winter things with fleece. So I had made her this, and she has been wearing it. She loves it. It keeps her nice and toasty warm. So this is what she's been wearing, and at the thought of having to put this away and wear something else, she had a complete meltdown because apparently at school, her and her friends at recess play a game where they pretend to be cats or something like that, who knows. And this hat is integral. It's integral to this game, and she absolutely could not participate without it. And so, yeah, I was just like, hey, Avery, calm down. Like, I can make you a new hat, no big deal, right? So anyway, that's what I did. So that afternoon, I picked out some yarn from my stash that I had. She has a little bin where anytime there's some yarn that I buy with her in mind, it goes in there. And I picked out a skein of yarn to make her a new kitty hat with no fleece lining. So this is it here. This is the KitKat hat. I think I've made this now 3 times. And it's just such an easy, quick project. I think I finished this. I cast on Wednesday. I think I cast off Thursday night. I sewed on the little fleece ears there. It's just such a quick project. It's so easy. I think I followed the pattern exactly with the cast on and the needles. I used 4.5 needles, and you're basically just working in the round all the way to the top, and then you do a 3 needle bind off on the inside so that you get that nice edge. And then you tack down the ears. So you can just tack it down with some of the yarn. I like to add the little triangles, but yeah, when they wear it, these little corners just like look like little ears. So yesterday I was able to get a picture of her wearing it before she went off to school. I told her she couldn't wear it to school because I needed to keep it to show you guys, but I got a little picture, so I will pop that in here. And yeah, she is very pleased that now she will have a warmer weather appropriate hat that still looks like a little kitty. So the yarn that I chose to use, I think I've had this in my stash for about 2 years, and it's from Sinister Yarns. It's her worsted weight, and the color is Care Bear Stare, so I think that's why I probably picked it out for her, that and just the colors, the pinks, and all the little rainbow specks. And yeah, I used about half the ball, just over half the ball I think. It was a 115 gram ball. This is what I have left. And I'm thinking this would be enough. Like, this is too much to just kind of put away and not do anything with. I was thinking of maybe making a kitty hat, a kitty ear hat for one of her dolls. I'll have to look at some of my previous projects where I've made garments for her dolls and just see if this would be enough to make a little sweater or something. But I think I'm going to make something for one of her dolls with the remaining yarn because there's still a good bit left in there. So that is my finished object, and then that was a very distracting project, and then I just have the progress that I have on some of my other things. So I didn't get as much done on some of my other projects because, yeah, for about a day and a half or so, my attention was focused on getting this hat done. The first thing I think I'm going to show you is the one that I got the least amount of work on, and these are my Scott base socks. So this is a pair of socks that I am making for one of my brothers for Christmas, and I showed these to you last week. I am using this pattern because it is one that was already in my Ravelry library. One of my bingo goals for this year is to use patterns that I already have, and I am quite enjoying it. It is a top-down sock, and then there is a slip stitch pattern, and so you get a really, really nice texture. I am enjoying this pattern. The stitch pattern is only 2 rows. There's a knit row and then there's a pattern row. It's very easy to take around with me. It's very easy to pick up and put down. And then the other thing that I had mentioned was that I was going to try and use the heel from the Jangle sock that I made in February with this pattern. So originally this pattern calls for a heel, flap, and gusset. And I really, really enjoyed the heel from the Jangle Socks pattern. It was basically just increases, and then you do like wraps and turns and stuff, so that you're not picking up any stitches along the side of the sock. So I've got that little bit started right here. You can see the increases are starting for the heel shaping. So that's as far as I got on this. I think when I showed it to you last, I was around here, so just a little bit of work done on this project, but like I said, my attention has been taken by other things, and one of those things is the other pair of socks that I am working on. I also showed you these last week. I had previously been working on the Lots of socks, and then I decided that the color work and the slip stitches are just not my thing. I just really like a simple sock. It can have a bit of like stitch pattern, but really I like to just be able to work on a sock nice and quickly. And so I had ripped that pattern out, ripped all that slip stitch mosaic knitting out, and I had started a new project. And I was trying the technique of helical knitting. And so this is what I have. Last week I put it on a little marker, so that's about as far as I was when I showed you the restarted project last week, and I have completely finished the first sock. I have loved working on these socks. Doing the helical knitting is just so fun. It's like no different than just working a vanilla sock because you're only working with one yarn at a time. But I really, really like the effect, and it's almost like the effect of when you're working on striping socks where you just want to do, you know, one more row because you're switching colors. And it just, yeah, these have been zooming. So I decided to put in a German short row heel. I figured that would be the easiest to work in with the helical knitting technique. It should fit me fine. And then, yeah, I've done the contrast on the cuff and the toe. Now, I've been weighing my yarn as I finished the first sock because I was really curious to see how much yarn I used of each yarn, because I think this would be a great way to use up scraps and leftover bits. And so far for this sock, I used about 30 grams of the main color here, and then I only used about 10 grams of the blue. So I'm thinking if I do the second sock and I use about 10 grams for the second sock as well, this would be a fun way to use 20-gram minis with a bigger leftover bit. So this is the first sock, and then I have started on the second sock, and this is how far I've got on the second sock. I am really hopeful that I might get these done by the end of the month. One of my goals for March was to finish the original Lots of socks, so if I can get these done, that would be awesome. Just as a reminder, the yarns that I am using is some Artful Bell for the main color, and then a sock blank from Stranded Dye Works. I'm also really liking how the sock blank is working up in the helical knitting, and it makes me able to use up one of my sock blanks. That is another goal that I had on my bingo card, is to use 3 of the sock blanks that I have in my stash this year. So I will have leftovers of that one, but I will figure out something to do with it. And yeah, I'm just happy to be able to use it in those socks. I think I'm really going to enjoy wearing those socks. So the last work in progress that I have to share with you is my Lion brand sweater, and it is looking a little bit different. So Steph, last week when I asked what project you guys thought had been restarted, you guessed that it was my bulky sweater, when in fact I had restarted the socks. Well, you were just a week early in your guess, because guess what, guys? I have restarted my bulky weight sweater. So this sweater I am making with some Lion brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn. It's bonus bundles. These balls are huge. They were taking up so much space in my stash, so I just wanted to use them into something and free up that space. So I had originally started a cabled pullover, and I think last week you could probably sense that I was having a little bit of conflict with that project, and this week when I was trying to work on it and telling myself I should work on it, I was having the same kind of back and forth as I did with the socks before, where I was like, you really should work on that sweater. I was like, man, I don't want to work on that sweater. And I was also very tempted to cast on another sweater, the Cumulus with the green yarn that I've talked about previously. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I could cast that on and just put this sweater aside. And that's when I was like, hold on. Do you want to put the sweater aside with the intention of getting back to it? Or are you going to put this sweater aside and never touch it again? And I decided that if I put this sweater aside, I would probably never touch it again. So in that case, I was like, you know what? We gotta restart. We gotta restart. There's no point in finishing something. There's no point in putting something aside that you're not gonna work on ever again. And there's no point in forcing yourself to finish something that you clearly don't want to finish. So I restarted, and I decided to look for a cardigan pattern. And the reason I looked for a cardigan is because when I was working on the sweater, one of the things I was thinking of was, okay, well, maybe I can just finish this and then figure out a way to steek it and make it a cardigan, because for the purpose that I want this garment, which is just to wear around the house when it's chilly, keep warm, nice and cozy, I decided, you know what, a cardigan would probably be more practical for that. So yeah, instead of trying to steek it and make something that's not a cardigan into a cardigan when it wasn't supposed to be a cardigan, I was like, let's just make a cardigan. So the pattern that I found on Ravelry is called Iced. It is a free pattern from Knitty, and it is just a very simple top-down pattern meant for super bulky yarn. And this is the progress that I have made so far. I got it cast on, and I got all of this work done on it there. I actually tried this on recently. I worked through, after I ripped out my original sweater, I had about 2 giant balls of yarn. So I was able to get the first one knit into this and then try it on, and right now it just hits me at my natural waist. And then I have a second ball from the ripped out sweater plus 2 full balls. So I should have plenty of yarn. And one of the things I love about now working on this top down is that I can continue to try it on and just see how the length is. I'd really like to make use of as much yarn as possible, so I might make it longer than I normally would wear a cardigan. And if you notice from the pattern picture, it's designed to have really wide front, a really wide front collar. And it is designed to have buttons. It's designed to be worn closed. I'm not going to add buttons. I'm not going to wear it like that. I just want the nice big cozy collar. But I'm really happy with how much I got knit on this, considering like 3 days ago I decided to rip out the original sweater. So I'm back to really enjoying this project. I think I will finish it. I did really want to finish this before casting on the cumulus, even though it's so tempting. I really want to cast that on. But hopefully, because this is a super bulky yarn, now that I'm working on something that I'm enjoying, it will go quickly. And maybe I can even finish this by the end of the month. I'm not sure, but it would be really cool if I could finish this by the end of the month as well, and then cast on the cumulus for April. So I believe that is all the knitting that I have for you today. The last thing I have to share with you is the collection. And the last time there was a fabric vote, it was between some camper fabric and also some little succulents. And the vote was like back and forth the whole time. Every time one fabric got a vote, the other fabric got a vote, back and forth, back and forth. So I just decided to do a double collection again. We are approaching my show season. As some of you may know, my first show will be the Toronto Knitter Frolic at the end of April. So yeah, I don't mind doing double collections because it's just more inventory. It's more inventory for my stock, and then I don't have to do as much right up to leading up to the show. So I decided to do a double collection. So the first one that I'm going to share with you is the succulents, and I was able to get 3 pieces out of each fabric. So the first one here is a notion pouch, and then I was also able to get a regular pouch, and then I was able to get a mid buddy. So that's my larger drawstring size. And then for the campers, I was able to do a bitty buddy and also a mid buddy, and then another little notion pouch. So that's what I was able to get out of the fabric voted on before, and those will be up in the website by the time you see this. And then finally, I have the vote for the next collection. I should mention, I did not do any yarn for this collection. Like I said, because we are approaching show season, I have the Frolic on the 27th. The very next weekend, I'm going to be at the Sunshine Fiber Fest in Aurelia, and then the very next weekend, I'm going to be at the Knitting Basket with Angie. I need all my yarn inventory to die for the show. So there's going to be no yarn in the next couple of collections, but after those shows there's going to be a whole whack of new stuff on the website, and I will let you know when that is all up on there. So yes, the vote for the next collection. I decided to go with a bit of a book theme for this one, and you've seen both of these before, but I thought it might be fun to bring them back. So your first choice is these little cats in the book, so we'll say the library cats. So that is your first choice. And then the second choice, I've actually done a collection with this fabric before, but it did really well. I think I sold all the pieces, so I'm bringing this one back as well. So this is just the books. So let me know in your comments below, library cats or books, and again, any comment on any of my videos gives you an entry towards a monthly draw that I do, and also any item ordered in my shop gives you an entry as well. So that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope the rest of your weekend is lovely and very crafty, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.